What did you anticipate? Did you think he was going to pop a rabbit out of his butt and give you a look at this moment? No. He made a discovery that piqued everyone's curiosity. That's who I would choose if I were going to do it, mostly because I can get the tonnage and the dependability. That would therefore be my first option. My opinions and forecasts. I predict that 2024 will be a turning point in history. Many automakers in North America have retreated from the electric vehicle market, primarily due to their attention being drawn to Wall Street's opinions. However, I believe that there will be a change most likely around election time when people begin to realize who might win, and it will likely be a bigger deciding factor than almost anything that makes sense. One of my favorite thinkers, Sun Tzu, frequently asserts that you should strike where your adversary is not. Who is the adversary? Any OEM manufacturer's ICE is the enemy of the Chinese. That enemy, where is he? They're not in the electric, though. Oh, we don't have to worry, those guys were thinking as they sat there. Sunshine will always be present for us when individuals converse in such a manner. They are unable to predict what the future holds. Furthermore, the future was not just a dull mirror of the past. They took no action. And that's what will happen. Those who sit on their hands typically end up conquered. The Chinese are planning to arrive with their vehicles. They will be really pleasant. Their attributes will be excellent. Thus, the knowledgeable will prevail. Those that still follow the outdated guidelines will not succeed. The Chinese are soon to arrive, and their vehicles will resemble those of the Japanese when they first arrived in the country. The Japanese automobiles were excellent. They consumed a lot of petrol, and everyone was looking for cheap petrol. As a result, you will see the recurrence of that invasion. They will be in serious trouble if they ignore history, though. When the folks at the top of the house believe that the Chinese are just going to offer us some Chinese garbage, you can't possibly win. When that automobile arrives, what will happen? Let's get started on a subject that will definitely cause a stir in Tesla stock history. Yes, we are speaking about none other than Sandy Munro, the well-known industry analyst whose forecasts have the capacity to cause unprecedented market turbulence. This episode will examine these most recent findings, which have the potential to completely alter the course of Tesla stock. These breakthroughs range from revolutionary developments in battery technology to new perspectives on international supply systems. The automobile business is about to be rocked by Sandy Munro's skills. What effects would the flood of Chinese autos have on the US market? What effects would the Inflation Reduction Act have on the incentives for electric vehicles? And what shape does Sandy envision for battery technology going forward? So fasten your seatbelts, people, because you won't want to miss a second of this conversation. Please remember to tick the like and subscribe buttons before continuing. This is news about Tesla stocks. Let us immediately get to work. C is now sharing some very important information. He has been on the front lines, collaborating closely with suppliers, and wondering when the era of conventional vehicles will end. Sai had originally projected 2030, but he now believes we could reach that tipping point as early as 2028. According to Sandy Munro's audacious projections, a startling 50% of cars on the road today may be electrified by 2028. Now take a moment to process that. This is not merely a small adjustment, rather. The car industry is undergoing a massive upheaval. It gets even more exciting, though, so hold on. This change isn't limited to what happens inside its boundaries. Whoa! It's a worldwide phenomenon that will affect entire continents. From the busy streets of New York to the meandering lanes of Tokyo, the emergence of electric vehicles is set to fundamentally alter our daily commutes, travel habits, and interactions with our surroundings on a worldwide level. Imagine this busy city lit up by the soft light of electric cars as they drive silently down the streets. Envision tranquil country roads and winding mountain passes traversed by electric cars, devoid of the rumbling of combustion engines. But what's causing this enormous change? It's the result of a number of things coming together, such as rising environmental consciousness encouraging consumers to make greener decisions and breakthroughs in battery technology, making electric vehicles more accessible and affordable. This electric revolution is being further propelled by governments across the globe who are putting laws and incentives in place to hasten the switch to electric vehicles. Now, some doubters may be asking themselves, are we really ready for this? Do we have enough factories, battery plants, and materials? It seems that Sai has a valid point. Though perhaps not exactly where it is needed, the infrastructure is already in place. It's just a matter of time until we witness that shift, since people like you and me are driving an increasing desire for electric automobiles, saving a ton of money on gasoline expenses and charging for free. Take this guy with the Chevy Bolt, for example. His monthly travel expenses have been reduced from $125 to only $9. That alone represents some significant savings. Hey, we understand those who are dubious about government goals or climate change may find change to be intimidating. The problem is that this is about the future we are creating for the coming generation, not just about ourselves. And believe me when I tell you that the youth are spearheading this effort. It becomes Evident that it is no longer just about us when you witness those young children becoming fervent advocates for a cleaner, greener world. It concerns them and the kind of planet we are entrusting to their care. There are many things to consider, and Xi's insightful observations really hit the mark. Right now. Put an end to conventional marketing tactics aimed at the 35 to 55 age group. Xi is looking even further forward, speculating about where we'll be in 10 years. Besides, he's not your normal MBA holding marketing whiz. But really, with vision like this, who needs fancy degrees? Let's speak about numbers now. At the moment, Tesla is the market leader with a staggering 70% of the market share, with competitors like Ford trailing far behind with only roughly 7%. Hold on, though, because China is about to become the true game changer. Xi isn't holding back when he points to the graph that displays EV sales worldwide over the past 10 years. And what do you know? China should not be disregarded. Leading the way are BYD and NIO, which may potentially take up to 30% of the US market and cause a major upheaval. The real question is, though, are we prepared for the flood of Chinese automobiles? Are they even able to compete? That's when things become a little complicated. As you can see, there are numerous incentives for electric automobiles under the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. The catch is that the batteries must be made in the United States of America. They must better also bear the Made in the USA stamp. It's an essential component of the jigsaw, since those incentives might disappear into thin air in the absence of locally produced batteries. 100% of the value of all parts, components, and materials used in vehicles by 2030 must come from the US in order to be eligible for certain incentives. The catch is that money is everything. Though those rewards are tempting, don't lose sight of the wider picture. Gary makes a good point when he says that people will buy a car, no matter where it is built, if it is desired. And what do you know? Electric vehicles are becoming more and more appealing as their prices are trending lower. But wait, what if there's a claim that Biden would ban imports? Now, here's the question: where does General Motors turn a profit? The US, you guessed it. Xi has the data to support his claims. Take a look at General Motors and Volkswagen. Their sales and profits in China have drastically decreased. Gaining a sizable portion of the market will undoubtedly boost investor confidence, which in turn boosts Tesla's confidence. You know who else is as optimistic about Tesla as you are? Our pals from Seeking Alpha. It's not enough to merely watch Tesla's phenomenal rise from the sidelines. Seeking Alpha is the one-stop shop for Tesla bulls and investors who have an eye for the next big thing in the stock market. It provides the most recent information on Elon Musk, Tesla innovation, and target prices for Tesla shares. The internet's top pro-Tesla news outlet is Seeking Alpha. Get to the facts without listening to the lamestream media's anti-Tesla propaganda. To take advantage of a special discount, click the link in the description. What would happen if we choose to stop importing goods from China? It's not as easy as you may believe. Recall Argentina and Brazil? Everything was nationalized, almost forcing automakers out of business. What if China were to do the same to Volkswagen and GM? The shareholders would not be overly happy. That brings us to the men in suits who are promoting outsourcing. Xi, on the other hand, has a different viewpoint. He favors localization and vertical integration. Let's face it, though, can these businesses simply up and leave China? Not so quickly. China is a major supplier of raw minerals, particularly lithium, to the US. It's also difficult to persuade the younger generation who are enthusiastic about environmental issues that we have adequate resources on hand. It's true that Sudbury has nickel, but no one minds it because, well, we don't need it. Speaking about batteries, let's discuss the 4680 battery. Now, at first, we might have underestimated the price of this battery. As it happens, it's actually less expensive than we had thought. This is a great deal. The real analysis is still to come, but we have provided some approximate estimates on a chart. And believe me when I say that it's unexpected power beyond our wildest expectations, not only in terms of price. These days, when Tesla releases information about their improvements in energy or batteries, it's certainly astounding. However, in order to be sure our consumers are receiving the real deal, we must test it ourselves. And believe me when I say that this battery surpasses our expectations. So why did we ever have any doubts about this kind of cylindrical battery? Mark Ellis was building battery plants all throughout China back in the day while he was still alive. The best part is that all of that technology originated in the good old USA. However, no one desired to produce batteries here. Rather, the equipment was transported to China. This jelly roll design is brilliant, I must say. Simple to construct, with fewer potential problems. If it does, simply throw it away and pick up another. Furthermore, recycling is simple, which lowers the cost of nickel and lithium. However, we must not overlook alternative battery type sulfur, iron, and lithium fume polymer LFP are all accessible. Lithium doesn't require complex processing. The difficulty is in gaining access to the qualities where it is present. Consider the Badlands, which are rich in lithium yet difficult to reach, not to mention thorium and other problematic materials mixed in. That concludes the whirlwind tour of material we covered today. The automotive industry is clearly about to undergo a significant transition as seen by the revolutionary developments in battery technology, the intricacies of global supply networks, and the prospects for electric vehicles. However, before we finish, let's quickly review. Sandy provided us with some fascinating new perspectives on the development of batteries, highlighting their affordability and power capacity. We explored the complexities of international trade dynamics with a focus on Chinese manufacturers and their possible influence on the US market. As we manage the demand for vital resources like lithium, let's not overlook the significance of sustainable mining processes. This is where we pass the reins to you in the discourse. What do you think will happen to electric cars and battery technologies in the future? Do you think that Tesla will do well in the market? What subjects would you like us to cover in upcoming episodes? If you thought this debate was enlightening, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to Tesla Stock News for future updates. I appreciate you viewing and see you later.